good, y'all? It's the Demouchet REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
When I first moved to Scandinavia, I thought the biggest adjustments would be practical. Coming from Florida, you might naturally think the weather. Also, of course, the language. However, I did not expect it to be so neurological. I'm an American and I've been living in Norway for 5 years now. I love learning about it. I love talking about it. Obviously, it's what my channel is about. And I realized that some things inside of me have shifted. I talk about many of these small shifts in these videos, but today's video is specifically about trust and safety. Not in a I trust my friends way, but in like a societal trust type of way. But I didn't know how much of my personality was shaped by this assumption until I moved somewhere that runs on an entirely different one that I grew up with. Everyone talks about the stroller thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Scandinavia and the stroller thing. I actually think it's such a great example of social trust in Scandinavia and a great starting point for my emotional reckoning. We've all seen it before. The pictures of the strollers sitting outside the cafes. Babies are napping in the strollers in the cold air. Parents are inside grabbing a coffee like this is the most normal thing in the world. And what caught my eye wasn't this lack of fear that the parents have for their babies. It was that same lack of fear in everyone else on the street. And I realized that I was the only one scanning, looking around, right? Like it wasn't even a conscious thought to these people, but it was muscle memory for me. My brain did what it does in public spaces, which is assess who's lingering around here, where are the exits. Now, I didn't grow up in chaos. I grew up in a relatively safe environment. I grew up in a normal American town, but normal for me included this kind of low level of vigilance. Lock your car, don't leave your purse unattended, just don't be careless. But then the stroller became background because I noticed something else. The diaper bags hanging off the handles. And that detail did me in. Because leaving a baby outside, I guess, can be framed as a cultural norm, right? Fresh air, independence, Nordic hardness. Fine, I can conceptualize that. But leaving the bag, the wallet, the extra clothes, the small, easily transferable objects that could disappear in seconds. And then I was like, these people assume that the other people walking past aren't gonna exploit the opportunity to steal something simply because it exists in front of them. And, you know, life goes on.
Yep.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny, because, you know, on one hand, she's thinking about the baby, but she's like, they left their stuff, too.
Their stuff, too.
Who want a baby diaper?
Man.
A baby bib. I remember our first time talking about the stroller thing on the channel. They was like, who wants to be dealing with somebody's baby? Nobody gonna take your baby. And I'm still like, so if we put the stroller in the restaurant with us, y'all would be looking at us crazy.
Which we've done before.
I mean, it's here. You know, here.
Yeah.
That's our norm here.
Like we'll take the stroller, bring it to the store, or a restaurant, we'll prepare the high chair and whatnot. Or depending on the age, we'll leave the child in the stroller. We'll just
and sit down and eat.
Check on the baby.
Right. But yeah, the cops would get called on you if you did something like that.
And y'all heard that from us before, because it's just not
no.
At all.
And it's like crazy people and laws. We could never do nothing like that.
I'll return a wallet if I see it on the ground, let alone think to take a purse or a bag from out of a stroller or a diaper bag from out of a stroller. If I see a random wallet on the ground, we return it. Right. Somebody needs it. What I'm gonna do with it?
That's somebody bill money up in there.
Child,
you know they're gonna have to make an appointment just to go replace the things that's in the wallet. Child, come get your wallet. And we're going to something else.
The thievery. That's what we're going into. The thievery. Yeah. This guy that I knew needed his rent paid, and I was leaving work, and then I had to go back to go pick something up, and I seen him walking around the 18 windows. I'm like, "School, what you doing?" He said, "I'm trying to find my envelope. My rent was in it. The wind must have blew it away." I stayed out there and I helped him look for it. I didn't find it, But eventually, when I came back to work the next day, he said he found it. So, but yeah, the thievery is crazy, bro. People would take it because they think they need more.
But I slowly began noticing this wasn't an isolated behavior. It was a pattern. Another example would be I would go on walks and I would see a hat placed carefully on a fence post, a dropped scarf folded over a mailbox. At first you don't really realize it, but then I was seeing the same gesture over and over and over again. And not only that, but I would see the same hat on the same fence post just sitting there for months. Someone loses something, a stranger finds it, the stranger doesn't keep it, they elevate it. They assume that this person is going to come back later and look for it, so they pick it up and they make it visible for them. And in the environment I grew up in, a lost object meant risk. It's carelessness, and carelessness has consequences. And of course, there's truth in that. But here, carelessness was met with a kind of communal buffering. Just this simple act of, hey, I saw that you lost this, so let me just put it up here in case you're looking for it. Now, moving past hats.
Because y'all don't think no one else is going to take it. That's good.
And you want to help the people who's
good.
looking for their stuff. I'm going to ask you this question. Have you ever lost your mama's house key?
Yeah.
And did she tell you not everybody in the whole town got her house key?
Pretty much.
That is how we grew up.
Yeah.
Baby, you cannot lose your house key. Because our parents were so
like,
they think the whole town have access to the house, so now they got to change all the locks in the house.
Pretty much. And you got to help.
That's how we grew up.
Something much bigger that I noticed that's much more built into the structure of things here is that public transportation in many places across Norway, and including its neighbors Sweden and Denmark, they often operate largely on a honor system. You buy your ticket, you get on the train. There is no physical gate stopping you from walking onto the train. You can walk onto the train without a ticket. There might be a random ticket inspection, but the framework of the system is not built around suspicion, it's built around expectation. We expect you to pay for this train ticket. And to me, that sentence carried psychological weight. Because to me, when
we need that psychological weight here. Because I feel like a lot of people watch you based off suspicion, based off assumption, and not expectation. They remove expectations so they don't see value. Ooh. When you remove expectation, you remove value from a person's lifestyle. So now I'm looking at you with assumptions and it's negative. I'm looking at you with suspicion and it's negative. And 9 times out of 10, there's a Karen around the corner that's finna call the cops on you. That's how that go. For free.
As soon as you about to get off this train.
Because what you was on there for? And why you ain't pay?
Wait, I have a comment. I lost my comment.
It's gonna come.
What was my comment?
It's coming.
I forgot.
System is designed around people being dishonest. It communicates something very specific. We do not trust you. And when a system is designed around the assumption that most people will comply, it communicates literally the exact opposite.
That is true.
We trust you. Okay, so are there at least cameras? Like, what is, other than the person that goes around and inspect on occasion, is there cameras? Is there like a, I don't know.
It's like a sensory reader that let the system know that this person got on for free without actually making a payment because of whatever reasons. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
Trust that you're going to do the right thing. And the wild part is that people respond accordingly. I found myself feeling oddly proud the first time that I bought my train ticket. And it wasn't about avoiding a fine. I didn't even get stopped. No one talked to me the whole time I was doing it, right? But I was participating in the norm. I didn't want to violate something that was obviously working well. Like I said, I didn't even get checked, but there was this sense of, yeah, I did that. What unsettled me the most wasn't that Scandinavia has high trust. It was realizing how much distrust I have. I used to think that being slightly guarded was simply just being realistic. And to be fair, I don't think that being cautious is foolish. There are reasons different societies evolve different norms. Context matters, history matters, scale, of course, matters. But I began to ask myself a sort of uncomfortable question, which was how much of my guardedness was actually protection and how much of it was just habit. Living here has slowly dismantled some of that habit. I noticed it first at night, walking home from the train station, only to realize that I wasn't rehearsing emergency scenarios in my head. And it's of course not that danger has ceased to exist. It's the baseline expectation that has shifted. And I don't think it made me naive either. If anything, it made me more observant, just in a different way. I started noticing how trust, this is gonna sound super just like obvious, but I started noticing how trust creates these circles of good, right? When people assume good faith, others are more likely to act in good faith. And the deeper realization I had was more about my identity. If you grow up in a low to medium trust environment, you learn that your own competence is measured through this level of caution. You prove that you're not gullible, and you show that you can navigate risk. Here, that seems a lot less necessary. If everyone around you is operating on this baseline goodwill, constant defensiveness reads very disproportionately from other people around you. I remember being at the library once and asking how to get my stroller upstairs because there was no elevator. And the guy was like, you just leave it down here. And in my head, I was like, what?
You gonna watch it?
You sure?
Right.
There's a lot of people down here. And I had to honestly sit with that. And I don't know why this is such a defining moment in my head. And
We're gonna get that stroller up the elevator.
We gotta talk about this because we recently went through something like this. We flew to Dallas and we took an Uber to get to the place we needed to be because we had to be there at a certain time. So we didn't have enough time to get a car rental. So we had to walk around with the car seat. And I would have loved to have been able to just put it to the side knowing that nobody's going to get it. But
that's crazy, yeah.
We have to think about, they may think that somebody abandoned this, they're going to throw it away. Not necessarily that somebody's going to take it and use it for themselves, but just as it's in the way, it's not supposed to be here type of thing. So we had to ask the employees, can they store it in this room?
Right.
You know, so just something as simple as...
That's a huge gap.
Right. Something as simple as trusting that we could put it right here and it's going to be okay. That would have been nice. Because this is a place where children go. Of course there's going to be a stroller. Of course there may be a car seat. You know, just somewhere, you know, to accommodate parents would have been nice.
Common sense, man. Yeah. Common sense, bro. It just makes sense because, oh, Lord.
Maybe I'm literally just cynical of people and the world, but I have to ask myself whether my cynicism is insight or if it's just this wall. There's something weirdly disarming about coming to a place where the default thought towards strangers is neutral to positive rather than neutral to defensive. It forces you to recalibrate your internal narratives about strangers. Now, I don't want to romanticize this. Scandinavia has crime, it has inequality, it has social tensions and blind spots and real problems that deserve serious attention. High trust did not appear out of thin air. It's historically and culturally constructed, supported by their relatively strong welfare systems and lower income inequalities compared to many other countries. But living here has given me the opportunity to think about these things. I've experienced what it feels like when a society assumes cooperation first. So full circle. The stroller outside the cafe isn't the story anymore. It's kind of the symbol of the story. And the diaper bag left hanging is not recklessness, it's a quiet vote of confidence in humanity. And I don't know if I would have believed that vote before living here. Now, I still lock my door, I still have instincts shaped from where I'm from, but there's more space in me now. I have less automatic suspicion, more curiosity, more willingness to assume that most people, most of the time, are simply trying to get through their day without harming anyone else just like I am. And not only do I now apply that here, I also apply it more when I go back to the US. Let me know down below what you think. Perhaps I'm just cynical and jaded and guarded.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start with that. Make sure you guys go check it out. Great topic. Very great topic. I do agree 1,000%. I actually think like this, where people shouldn't have to look at someone else and instantly think negative, think suspicion, think that they're doing something they have no business. I actually put people on a pedestal because I put myself on the expectation list. I like to do certain things in certain ways. Right. But because, like she was saying, we're from where we're from and it has shaped our instinct, I'm very happy about that. Yeah, regardless of the negatives that could come with it, I'm very happy that it has allowed me to see life in such a way where I can just still be involved, regardless of what the environment looks like. I know how to, conduct myself. That doesn't mean I'm stopping myself from thinking positive though. That just means that I'm in a space where I still know how to conduct myself.
Right. I'm gonna forever lock my doors. I don't care where
I'm
at.
Yeah.
I don't care which country. I'm gonna forever lock my doors. But there are some things that learning about other countries have helped, me question about different topics, especially when it comes to safety.
Right.
But yeah, that's cool. But something that shapes my viewpoint, my perspective of safety is because I'm a very sharp person. Now I don't always see myself as being sharp because I have a big personality and I'm a confident person, but I know I flew by myself for the very first time recently, and I realized that I'm a small person in a big world. Yeah. But when I'm traveling and I'm always with my husband, I feel safe. Like he's tall, he's a giant, so yeah, gotta go through him anyway. I don't know, but that shapes the big point of me being like when we were walking everywhere that we walked in South Africa. Like even when people were surprised that we actually went to Soweto, which is a township in South Africa.
Shout out to Soweto.
People were surprised. It was like, y'all really went. And I'm like, first of all, we from the hood in Louisiana, so not much really scare us. But second of all, me being, I don't know if I would have went by myself. Yeah, I would have went with a tour guide by myself. Tour guide, yeah. But because I was with you, a tall person, my husband, I always feel safe.